Hi, Pete Moore, Mart TV. I'd like to introduce you to my favourite hunting scope, Swarovski Z8i 1.7 to 13.3p. The Z8 gives a 8x zoom range, and as you can imagine, with the high and low ends of what this scope offers, you can use it for shooting wild boar at close up or longer range deer. I've done both, and that is the great thing about it. Plus the fact the 42mm objective is not an issue in a quality optic like this with good glass. Dawn and dusk isn't a problem, so that's why I consider it almost a perfect scope. And if I had the money, I'd put it in all my rifles, but I don't, so I've just got to cherish this one. It's a 30mm one-piece body tube, as you might expect from Swarovski. The eyepiece bell is unusual as it incorporates the rear stat system. As you can see, there's two pressure pads, plus, minus, obviously for up and down, and under the falcon as such, there's a lever. And you can see it. There's, on the left it's a little moon, on the right it's a little sun, in the centre it's off. But if you want it on full power for daytime use, and you flick it to the right, and then obviously to the left if you want nighttime use, we don't need such power. But it's nice, and what I do like about it is the illumination is a central dot in the reticle, and around it is a circle, so you do have the ability to sort of frame things, or as I used it on wild boar, driven boar, it's quite good because you can sort of circle the animal. It gives you some sort of lead. Okay, rear is a fast focus European style eyepiece with no locking ring, just twiddle it. Magnification ring, rubber, slotted with a raised fin, and it's good when you're in the aim with this thing. The actual throw between 1.7 and 30.3 is reasonably short, and you can almost look down and see the numbers, so you can set it to what you want it, which is the beauty of it. The reticle is a number 4A style, as in it has a slim sort of crucifix shape coming down from 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and then the three thick outer bars are at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock. The actual ret is a little bit fine, but it stands out well against most things. But in low light or against dark cover, sometimes it's a bit indistinct, and that's when I can pop the illumination on just a slight to give you an aim point, which is good. The ret is in the second focal plane, as most of the Swarovski scopes are. Moving forward, we come to the saddle. This, as you can see, has a rather unusual elevation turret on it. It's called Ballistic Turret Flex, and it's a Swarovski innovation. It's quite clever. But from the box, the scope will come with, as you can see on the windage, it's just a standard screw-off cap that, when it's off, shows the typical Swarovski adjuster drum. So you just adjust it for the zero, and then you lift up the outer ring and you can rotate it, which is disengaged, to give you a zero mark on the scope. Inside, Swarovski mount a spare battery for the rear stat, which is quite nice. So when this comes out of the box, you'll have just a top standard screw-off cover as well. The Ballistic Flex will come to later on. It's an option you can have if you need it. I mean, this gun's in 270 Win, and I've got it zeroed for 180 yards, which means the gun shoots sort of plus minus an inch out to 200. So for most of my deer work, I don't really need a ballistic turret, because it's basically, if it's up to 200 yards, then you cock on. Okay, on the left, a Parallax drum, which goes from 50, which we can see there, past 100, and then on to infinity. The thing about it is, when it's at 100, there's like a slight sort of detent that you just feel it clunk in, which is not bad. So if you're sort of ranging something, or you've changed the range, then you know you can instantly return to the zero position quite easily, just by feel alone. And so up front is the 42mm objective, which is more than big enough. But it's a damn nice scope, and I really do like the thing indeed. It's subtle more than anything else. I mean, the illumination is subtle. The reticle is a little bit slim, as I said. You can illuminate it. Everything just seems really, really nice. Okay, let's stop there and then move on to looking at the Ballistic Turret Flex. It's an unusual system because it allows you to add a ballistic turret to a scope. Usually that's not possible unless you send it away to manufacturer and pay lots of money. And it's as simple as this. There's a button in the top, as you can see. You just use a small, here, click, lift it up, and it's off. And then, as I said before, when you buy it, it'll just be a standard cover over that. But it's exactly the same drum as the one on the side. The turret consists of a screw-off top cap. Comes off like so. There's the spring plunger lock, and there are 4 range rings. Again, as you can see, they're marked 2, 3, 4 and 5, which has got really nothing to do with distance. It's just how they're marked, and they slide down onto these splines. And below here is a graduation, along with a triangle and a dot, which is your 0 point. So what you basically do is you zero with the BTF off and just twiddle the drums as you would normally. And then once you're set for your set 0, so for this rifle, I've done it for 180 yards. And say, for instance, if I want to then put my next range mark at 220, then what I do, I work out in clicks what it is, and then I'll just pick the number 2, of course, which is quite logical. Down, just assuming that 220 meters or yards on that is the first large line. Just drop it on like so, and then the next one, say you want it 240, take number 3, and that's there. And then also you just, whatever range you want, you just put the marker on where you need it. It's the trick is calculating where you want them to be, because quite often the ranges can be in between. And then the last one is there. So as I say, that's just set up. It's not particularly set up for anything, but that's how you do it. And then once you're done, you screw the cover back on like so, and then you just offer it up to the top turret like so. Literally make sure that your dots are in line, and click, you hear it click down, and there you're on it. So the 200 0 is where that is, and then deer's at 220 or whatever. Click, 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 and so the little pointer on the 2 coincides with the dot, and you should be on, providing you've done your ballistics and zeroed the thing. Interesting about this is as well, and quite a little bit unusual, you can lock the turret in position. Little lug there, you just rotate the lugs back like so, and then the turret is locked. It'll still come off as in through the button, but it will not function. Like today I was out, and maximum range for me today was like 175 yards, so basically I just locked the turret off because I knew exactly where I was. But it's all belt and braces. It's not essential you do, because it's not an easy drum to actually rotate by accident, but it's not a bad idea. So that is my favourite Swarovski. I like the Z8 because they've refined the original Z6 mag range, which they came up with a few years back now, into something even more special. But I really like it, apart from the quality optics and the good glass, for the fact it's 1.7 to 13.3. To me, it makes it an ideal all-round scope for any use, given the rifle caliber. So I've shot boar with this in 270. I've gone out and shot deer with it out to 250, 300 yards, and it's just a perfect scope. So that's it. It's reassuringly expensive, but you are buying a lot of scope for your money. So as usual, if you like what you see, comment, support the site, and if you want to speak to me about something or want me to get something in, it's pete.moore@aceville.co.uk. So until then, safe shooting.